Location. Argentina is located in the south of South America, bordering the Atlantic Ocean and Uruguay to the east, Brazil to the northeast, Bolivia and Paraguay to the north, and Chile to the west and south. Population.
Population of Argentina until July of the current year was 43,431,886 people. It is composed mainly of four ethnic groups: the white people group, the mestizos, Amerindian, and other non-white groups.
Government. According to Economics.com, Argentina's president is Cristina Fernández de Kirchner since 2007. She belongs to a centralist party, Justicialist Party.
The Justicialist Party is the successor of the Peronist Party. The Peronism is a national movement that includes the working class of the society. The aims of this ideology are social justice, economic independence, and political sovereignty. The countries supporting Argentina militarily and politically when talking about the owning of the Falkland Islands are Peru, Spain, and Venezuela, and other allies are Brazil, Russia, and Spain, and the other three.
Recent history.
In the early 1970s, Argentina saw the return of Juan Domingo Perón, a military that had already been president of the country during two periods. Perón had primarily marked the course of politics in Argentina for his populist ideas, which were not accepted by everyone. In 1973, he won the elections for presidency again and encouraged measures such as syndicalism, industrialization, and fight for the rights of the workers. In 1974, he passed away, and his wife, María Estela Martínez, also known as Isabel Perón, took charge of the administration. Unfortunately, she was not able to handle the crisis that Argentina was going through, and a coup d'etat removed her from power in 1976, ending up in another military dictatorship headed by Rafael Videla. From 1976 to 1983, the government was extremely oppressive, until the point that any oppositor or guerrillero was sent to jail, tortured, murdered, or disappeared. The economic situation did not improve either, since the administration encouraged foreign investment and commerce and weakened the national industry. During this time, tensions rose between Argentina and UK because of the conflict of legitimacy of the Falkland Islands, which ended up in the war that Argentina lost. After the defeat, international pressures forced the dictator in role, Leopoldo Galtieri, to return to constitutional democracy. Raúl Alfonsín won the elections and remained as the president of the country until 1989. He applied measures to reinstitute order in the military and sanctioned the guilty ones from all the atrocities and human rights violations during the last dictatorship. During Alfonsín's period, Argentina joined several commercial treaties such as Mercosur, and the national currency was changed to the Austral. In 1989, the country faced a huge inflation that ended up in a huge economic crisis. As a response to this, the next president, Carlos Menem, had to implement a series of neoliberal policies to fight back the effects of the harsh situation, betraying the ideas of his party. Besides, many corruption cases were discovered in this period, and the indult to several accountable men and women of the crimes committed during the dictatorship angered even more the people. Another measure Menem took was to return to the peso and pair its value with the dollar. During the government of Fernando de la Rúa, Argentina saw probably its worst economic crisis. De la Rúa implemented measures to prevent the country from falling even deeper into the crisis, but they only angered more the people. Some of these measures were freezing the bank accounts to prevent the banks from being broke and to ask another loan to the International Money Fund. The discontent grew and there were a lot of manifestations. He had to quit in 2001. The presidency was very unstable. Presidents were in charge but quit a short time later until 2003. Emilio Duvalde was the most remarkable during this period and lasted only a year in power. His biggest achievement was to devalue the currency, this way offering a possible solution to the crisis. In 2003, Néstor Kirchner was elected president, and during his administration, the poverty rates lowered and the exportation and industrialization grew. He also improved the country's commercial relations with other countries in Latin America and got economical and political independence from the United States. After Néstor Kirchner, his wife Cristina Fernández was elected president for two periods. Among her major achievements are the allowance of gay marriage, the media reformation, in which the state gets involved in the regulation of the media, and the nationalization of industries such as oil and airplanes.
Social issues. The main social issues according to Amnesty International 2015 are
indigenous rights. Indigenous communities were denied their right to free, prior, and informed consent in projects involving exploitation of natural resources on indigenous lands. Amnesty International 2015. According to the Prosecution Coordination Unit, more than 600 people were facing criminal proceedings for human rights violation, including enforced disappearances at the end of the year. Trials result in more than 30 convicts during the year. Amnesty International 2015. Threats to witness. Reports say that there were cases where witnesses were threatened, mainly those that come from isolated rural areas. Prison condition. Poor conditions, violence, overcrowding, lack of adequate health services, torture, and other ill treatments were reported in prisons and detention centers in Santiago del Estero and Mendoza provinces. Amnesty International 2015. Gender violence. Gender-based violence remains a serious concern. Legislation to prevent and punish violence against women was enacted in April. Amnesty International 2015. Latin America accounts for 78% of the 1,731 murders of transgender and gender-diverse people reported worldwide between January 2008 and December 2014, according to activist group Transgender Europe.
recent news.
Elections in Argentina will take place this Sunday. The two main candidates are Peronist Daniel, the chosen one of the actual president, and Mauricio Macri, mainly because he is more concerned about the markets and the current problems such as inflation, devaluation, among others. The people in Argentina are celebrating finally the 8 years of Cristina Fernandez are over, according to BBC. This article talks about the death of Diana Zaccayan, an activist defender of the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender rights. This has been the third death of a transgender in the last month. Diana was the first to receive her national identity card recognizing her as a woman, according to BBC. This article talks about how the BBC National Orchestra, in its South America tour, will be the first professional symphony orchestra to visit the community in Patagonia, according to BBC.
Happiness. The HPI is a leading global measure of sustainable well-being according to the Happy Planet Index. The HPI evaluates the next areas: life expectancy, experience well-being, and ecological footprint. The aim of the index is to measure how well countries deliver great lives for the people. According to the happyplanetindex.org, the index is an efficient measure. It ranks countries on how many long and happy lives they produce per unit of environmental input.
Argentina.
According to happyplanetindex.org, Argentina's HPI is 54.1, life expectancy 75.9, ecological footprint 2.7, and finally experience well-being 6.4.